Hi everyone, it's Cathy Zielske. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I've got a video to share with you that falls under the memory keeping and scrapbooking umbrella. I wanted to share with you the results of the newest project that I have created from my e-course. It's a self-paced class called Message to My. The newest is not this. This is the project that kicked off this whole concept. And what it is you create a book of messages to or about a subject. And I did this for my daughter Aiden's senior year, where I took the school year and every week I found a photo and I paired it with a message, and it served as a record of her senior year. But it served as a bit of a subjective record because it was me writing a book of messages to her. And I'm going to share links below so you can see the original blog post that I wrote about this particular project. But I love this album. I also created one for my son in his senior year. That was it was 2 school years ago. I don't have that book handy. I think he loves it so much he's hidden it somewhere deep in the recesses of his basement bedroom. But the project is one of my favorite albums, both for my daughter and my son. Some messages are more heartfelt. Some messages are simply recording the facts. But each week there was a photo paired with a short amount of words. I believe it's got to be 75 words or less. And the template, which is a Photoshop template, it doesn't change. And for me, when I'm able to focus on one image and the story, that is my favorite type of memory keeping. I think it explains why I've done so many single photo layouts. But this project went through. It was truly a labor of love. And at the end of the school year, I had it printed with my preferred printer, Artifact Uprising, a company that I absolutely love. They do a great job, and this quality is fantastic. At the end of the school year, I gave this to my daughter, and I don't really remember her reaction, but I'm going to tell you straight up, if you do something like this with the hope that you're going to get the mom, the love and care that you put into this project is amazing. Yet you might not be getting that. But this is a book that was made for her and ended with, let's see here, which is the school year, the last entry, and then a collage. Simple, small, easy to store, fantastic. So what happens when all of a sudden you don't have the children at home? Because I think this would be great for a kindergartner, a first grader, a second grader. Can you imagine having, a complete collection of these little books lined up and ready to go? I think it would be really cool. In the e-course, I teach you how to set yourself up for success so that you will emerge with a little printed book, or you can also print your pages and add your photos and put it into a mini album as well. So what happened last year? No kids at home, technically, not for the year anyway. I created another project, and this one is called Message to My Partially Empty Nest. My daughter moved out for her first year of law school, and my son embarked on his freshman year in college, and I wanted to tell my story. I wanted to make a record of what that span of time looked like while my son was away at college. So essentially, his freshman year was my time span. I don't think we tell enough middle-aged stories. And you know what? I'm middle-aged, and I'm proud to be here and grateful to be here. And I have long been a proponent of encouraging women to tell their stories. Make scrapbook pages about yourself. Tell your story, because your story is unique. And as my good friend Stacy Julian says, it's really the only story you're truly qualified to tell. And that's what I set out to do. I wanted to know, what does an empty nest year look like? So my little finished book came last week. As I gathered all of my pieces together, I took the same approach, but the difference was it's my story. And my story started out last year dropping off this fine young cannibal at college. And there he is, and there we go. And then my story begins. So each week I told a story from my perspective of how I was feeling, what I was experiencing, what I was doing. And of course, other people's stories get intertwined in your own, but this really was, what is this partially empty nest all about? I was pretty sure Cole would be home for the summer, which he is. I didn't realize my daughter was going to move back home as well, which she did. And it's all good, but I still had the unknown. And it's interesting as I go through this, I realize that my story is still told through the lens of viewing my children. They are included in this album quite a bit. This is an entry about Sunday night dinner that Aiden, my daughter, promised, "Oh, Mom, I'll be home. It'll be great." And true to her word, she came home for Sunday night dinners. I went to tournaments for my son's college team, only a couple, so he also factored in. But not just that, also my response to what is going on in their lives, how things were affecting them, how those things affected us as a family, personally. So it really did become an album of me reflecting on what this looks like. And I think this is an interesting time of life too, because I know for some people, maybe you can't wait until your kids are out of the house. And there are upsides and downsides to having that empty nest. I think the upsides are it's cleaner and it's much quieter. But the downsides are there too, that it is cleaner and quieter, if that makes sense. So this is the story of my year. And every week, again, I would include a photo from the week and a story from the week. And you see this beautiful face and that son's beautiful face show up in my story because it's still part of it. Even as I'm moving into this time of life where one day they're not going to be coming home again, other than to visit and spend holidays and things as such. So, but this tells my story. Back in week 16, I had a little health thing. I had a high blood pressure issue that completely shook me up. And I realized, as I said here, it was my come to Jesus moment regarding my health. So that was part of my story. Getting control of being a little bit healthier and eating well and exercising. I'm really good in some areas of my life. One of them, which I documented, is work. Very self-motivated for a self-employed woman, because if mama doesn't work, mama doesn't make any money. And so work is one of my stories as well, but that's a story that I don't really struggle with. Although this picture I have to show you, that is not a real cigarette. I was visiting a friend who works at Hamlin Mitchell Law School, and he has a fake old-time phone and a fake cigarette, which I thought was hilarious as an ex-smoker. Yeah, anyway. I included stories about my crafts. You know, I do crafts. I make cards now too, and that's pretty fun. But again, my family factors back into the story. And this is my year in a nutshell. And I think it's really cool, again, to have this minimal format. It's really easy to tell one story a week and to tell it in a short, edited way. I think sometimes we get hung up on journaling that it's not right and it's not good enough and it doesn't mean what I want it to mean. And what's great about this, I also look at this project as it lets me practice writing every week. And because I have, in this album, I have 30 plus weeks to practice, you're going to hit it out of the park some days. Do you know what I'm saying? And the other thing that I love is that my iPhone was my photo supplier. There are not many photos here that came off of my large camera. Okay, that one did. But most of them are just simple snaps that I pulled off from whatever I was taking that week. Very few of them were even based on taking a photo specifically for that entry. I actually let the photo dictate the story. So yeah, that's my album. The last entry was when I brought Cole home from school. And I'll read you the last one that says this. And with Cole's return home, the first trial run of the empty nest is over. It appears as though we'll have some time to test it out again. Even with Cole returning in the fall to St. Olaf, we've got our 2L law student at home for the coming academic year. But she's pretty great. and she cooks. Like I said, this has reminded me to be grateful for the time I have in my home with my children. It is truly a gift, and I will never take that for granted. And that is the end of my project. So I just wanted to share this with you because I think, of course, it is ideal for a school year. I mean, a school year, messages every week to your child, but you could also do something like this for, are you remodeling your house? Are you working on a long-term project of any kind that you could write a message about every week? The idea is simple: 1 week, one message. And the other thing I would like to point out about this project I kept up with pretty well. This project, I would fall behind. I think the most I fell behind was 5 weeks. Yeah, 5 weeks, and I was completely behind. All I had to do was open a calendar, look at the date for each Sunday, look in my photo library, go back in that week, find a photo, and tell a story for the week. So that's just a look at my message to my project and how it fleshed out into not just documenting your kids, but telling the story of my first year in the empty nest. Thanks so much for watching today, and if you want more information about the class, I have links below, and I will see you back here with another video soon.